Hi, Stephen.
Hey, how you doing, Tonya?
Good. Thank you so much for coming to our booth today.
All right.
And I know that you are here just for one day, one night, less than 24 hours, basically. And can you tell us a little bit about why you're here?
I'm here to show my work with you, and also to participate in the festivities, everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, and we're really proud of you for winning the Kehinde Wiley Black Rock residency.
Yeah.
And so can you tell us a little bit about how that came to be and how the residency, like what did you say in your application that made the residency choose you?
I don't think it's more about what I said. I think it's more about the work that I produce.
Yeah.
And what my work means. You know, and the message that behind my work. So I think that might have been one of the things that helped
for sure
the people choose me as one of the new residents for the residency.
Yeah. Are you excited about going to Senegal?
Oh yes, I'm always excited to travel, see the world, see how everybody makes their thing. Even coming here to see all the work from around the world and checking it out, you know, some kind of way it's going to spark something new in me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when I first saw your work, I remember, you know, I always remember when I see work and I know it's important, I always remember the very first time I saw it.
Yeah.
And the first time I saw your work was at the Nasher Museum of Art in February.
Yep.
At the, was it Reckoning and Resiliation?
Reckoning and Resilience,
yeah. That was an incredible show. But I remember walking into the Nasher Museum of Art and seeing your sculpture, you know, taking up this gigantic space. And I remember walking around that sculpture thinking like, this is a really amazing work of art. I had that feeling that you only have, I don't know about you, but I only have it when I know it's something I love and I'm committed to that work. I'm committed to getting that work into the world.
Yes.
So then I never knew how to get in touch with you, but I remembered your name, I remembered your sculpture.
Yeah.
And then when I saw you at the Contemporary Art Museum in Raleigh on a panel, and I had actually come up with the idea for that panel.
Okay.
When I saw you there on the panel with Clarence and Maya, I thought, wait, that's that guy who did the sculpture I love.
Yeah.
And you had on your shirt.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the shirt and the pond, and then how that functions within symbolically to help people understand the messages in your work.
Normally I would have it on right now, but I left it. I left it in the book bag. But actually it's a shirt with the chest piece, the pond, and then it has the king inside of it. And it's basically telling people, you know, or kids, that you don't have to be what the world predicts you to be. You can be a whole lot more. So basically, a lot of times with my work, my work deals with like capitalism, consumerism, and brainwashing, the ideas of the black body and how the black body is being seen today. What I want to do is change the way the world views somebody that looks like me, or give another example for these kids of, you know, who they could be and what they could be so much more of. So I don't want them to be seen, you know, to see something, a representation of them on television, like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. So I want to change the way
they think of themselves. Yeah, I love that. And it's the way that you present the ideas in your work, it really reaches in and grabs the viewer and helps them understand things in a different way. Helps them understand the impact of their actions as human beings and the impact that it has on other people. So tell me a little bit about, aren't those great? This guy did those. He did those.
Yeah. Yes, I made them. Thank you.
See, it's working. So, so tell me a little bit about, when I went to your studio for the first time, I saw some of these pieces and I really loved them, and you were telling me about them. So tell us why they're called 5 pounds.
So 5 pounds is the estimated amount of pressure that it takes to release a bullet from a chamber. That's why I gave the title 5 pounds. A lot of my work does that allure and that attraction to attract somebody from afar, and then once they get close up to it, they see something else into it, like another message.
Yeah, because these like sparkle,
yeah,
you know what I mean? The metal,
like
yeah, they do. It looks like golden or diamonds.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of, if you were to see this as a huge installation, you'll see about 500 or 600 of these pieces along the wall. And you don't know if these hands are fighting or they're asking for help or what they're doing. You don't know what message these hands are conveying. It's up to the viewer to say what it's saying.
Yeah. But to me, the humanity of like making a heart or a fist or a hugging gesture, really creates a big contrast between the human being and the violence, that they're subjected to. So tell me a little bit about, I want to ask you one more thing about this series. Yeah. Okay, so you recently, until like maybe a few days ago, had a grouping of these 5 pound series installed at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill.
Yes.
And that particular university was built by slaves.
Yeah.
And it has a very problematic history that they have been slow to resolve and to deal with.
Yes.
So what was your feeling? Why did you want to show your work there?
Well, that didn't even come to mind in my head. I didn't think about it. I was approached to show there, and I was like, I had to work sitting. It was in store, so it was like, oh, yes, I could show. Yeah. So it was only for a month.
And for me, as someone who went to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, it makes me feel like maybe things are slowly behind time, changing in a way that I hope that university will continue to change. There were so many fights with the North Carolina legislature about removing the Silent Sam sculpture, and it really is something that I think is critical to that university and other state universities to allow opportunities for all people to show their work. When I was a student at Chapel Hill, I didn't see one Black artist shown in that museum. And so I hope that anybody from Chapel Hill who hears this recording will realize what North Carolina has been missing out on for about the last 100 years. And when I walked into that show at the Nasher, that was some of the strongest art I've seen anywhere. I had just come off of a tour of 7 different museums in Oregon, San Francisco, New York, and then I flew to Chapel Hill. To Durham. And I went into the Nasher, and I was blown away by the quality of the work in that show. It far exceeded the quality of any of the shows that I saw at SF MoMA or anywhere else. And so anyway, anybody in museums listening to this today, open up your mind and start collecting artwork like Stephen's that has such profound meaning, and artists who haven't had the opportunity to show in museums because they weren't looked at. Their work has had, people like you, their work has had the opportunity to evolve and get better and better, because you've had the time to really focus on it in an authentic, honest way. So this piece, these 2 pieces for me are, I know exactly, I can feel the history there. Did you grow up in North Carolina?
I did grow up in North Carolina. I grew up in Durham, North Carolina.
Okay. All right. So my mother and her family grew up picking cotton. And I've heard all about the, how hard that was to do, and how you could pick, like, I remember her father was going to pay her 5 cents a pound.
Okay, and it takes a whole lot to
it takes a lot of pounds. Yeah. So, so tell me about these pieces and.
So these pieces are called queen cotton and girl cotton. What I want to do is create these hands coming from the hair or the cotton parts, really daintily pulling something out of the air like thin air, you know. So, you know, like I said before, a lot of my work is about that allure and that attraction to bring people in and think about what it means. You know, cotton, you know, built our clothes and all this stuff, and then we wear these things, these materialistic things, and Black people are put in the forefront to want to have to wear these things to allure people. You know, in the media, they put on these different type of clothes to make kids or people want to buy these materialistic things.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to these different companies. So, you know, think about the cotton that's still being picked right now. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And a lot of that actually gets, I know there was a big cotton factory, right?
Yeah.
In North Carolina. Yeah. And the Haynes family, right?
Yeah, even if not even like the physical picking, but the mental picking of cotton, like the clothing and buying different clothes.
Right.
And materialistic things.
Right.
So,
oh my God. I didn't even get that level of it until you said it that way right now. And this is actual cotton.
Yes.
And actual cotton, whatever pods. Yeah. Tell me about the earrings here.
Oh,
Queen.
It's just to play over the old bangle earrings that women used to wear, girls used to wear. So it says queen in the inside of it. So yeah.
So whose faces are these?
There's some of my friends, one of my friends' kids, and then another woman that I've casted.
Yeah.
So they're all like life castings, even down to the hands from off of real people.
Are any of these your hands?
So the heart and the fist is mine. The hugging is actually my mom's hands. Mom's hugging. So yeah.
I also I loved having the opportunity to see your work in the storage container.
Yeah.
And some of the casts of the women with the green patina were amazing. Yeah. And we're going to be able to show those, right?
Yes.
In your exhibition at our space container.
Correct. Yeah.
And we're so excited to have a space large enough to show not only this work, but all of your work, right? Yeah. We can fit all of your work in our 5,000 square foot space.
And I'll take up every square foot.
Yes. And I'm so excited. We're not going to release any of that work, right? Yeah. Until after you're back from the residency.
Yes, correct.
So we hope that people will take the opportunity to collect Stephen's work that we're releasing right now, because after the Kahinda Wiley Black Rock residency, your career is going to be catapulted into a whole other orbit.
Yeah, that's what I hope.
Yes. And stay tuned for Container to show one of Stephen's masterpiece so far, I would say, Cash Crop.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cash Crop. How many square feet does Cash Crop take up?
Oh, I don't know.
Depends. It's 35 life-size.
No, it's 15 life-size statues. So it'll probably take up like a 45 foot square, maybe a little bit bigger, depending on how wide I spread it out. And they're all chained to a pallet, which represents today. It's called Cash Crop, and it's about the transport of goods from the past and the present. There's an estimate 15 million people were transported from Africa to America, and it's talking about how does that still go on today? How do
15 million people?
Yeah.
15 million people?
That's what it. Yeah, that's what
I did not know that many.
You know, some of them died, some of them didn't make it. But
some of them were thrown overboard if they were sick, right?
Yes. So it's also talking about not knowing or learning anything about this history, about the transport of people from one place to another. And also talking about the transport of goods today and how these people put inside these warehouses with just enough room to produce as much goods as possible and ship them here to America.
Yeah.
So it's also talking about the transport of goods. So,
right.
And how it's changed over time. Yeah.
And Stephen's Cash Crop has been touring the country, touring museums.
Yeah. Since 2010.
And it is an unbelievable, it's one of the most incredible art installations I've ever seen in my life. It is, it's not only the life-size bodies that represent slaves who were brought over, but also he did these incredible wood block carvings.
So the wood block cuts on the back of the book slave ship plan. And then there are also like blacksmith chains. I learned how to blacksmith and weld. The hand forged chains that are going to the pallet. So learned a lot of things, how to figure out how to do it. So yeah.
Wow. And next year, we're hoping that we'll do a solo exhibition of your tapestries or cash crop, maybe at Art Basel Miami next year.
Right.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Everyone who's hearing this, you must, this is the very big advice that I'm going to give. And that is that you need to collect Stephen Hayes' work now because it is incredible work, and your loss if you don't take my advice on that.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you so much.